That's it. It was really
1981.
You're listening to RTLSA. You're listening to RTLSA.
I'm so sorry for interrupting. Yeah, I'm talking to you.
I didn't know. No problem. We needed a break anyway.
So I believe I'm crashing your rehearsal tonight.
You are. As you can see, I'm still sitting behind the drums. But yeah, no problem. We even got a surprise for you just after this, but you'll have to wait and see.
I hate surprises. Tell me now.
Well,
Okay, never mind.
If you ask very nicely,
Don't tell me.
I convinced the guys to maybe play our next single live for you on your show.
You're kidding. That's not really happening.
I'm not kidding at all.
That is freaking awesome. So, will we be like some of the first people to hear it? Or no? Okay. Well, I mean, hear it as a new single.
Definitely, it's going to be the first time we play this live on any form of media. Obviously, the album is out and it's on the album, but it's not been recognized properly as the second single. We are doing that tonight and playing it on your show live for the first time.
You know what? I knew from the beginning that I should have dealt with you rather than Mark. It seems like you're the guy that gets shit done.
Be careful, Mark. Yeah, we can hear you.
I know, Mark's there in the background somewhere. I know. Listen, Marius, I've got to ask you this question. All right, is it true what they say about drummers?
I don't know. I'm still waiting.
You obviously know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
All right, let's enlighten the public a little bit. Rumor has it that the drummer is the one that always gets laid. Is that true, Marius?
Silence is an answer, no.
True story. Now, okay, you and I have known each other for a long time. Do you want to tell the story, or should I tell the story of how we actually met?
Yeah, geez, it's probably been, I would say, 15 so odd years ago, when I was in the prime of my wrestling career and you were at the end of your rugby career.
I'll have you know. I'll have you know that I'm still playing the damn game.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you were playing for varsity third side, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
And I think I ref the game, and
Correct.
you had the opportunity to score. You had the opportunity to score about 5 tries, and you knocked 4 of them on. I think you eventually did score 1 try.
And the first words you ever said to me when I scored that try was, "Finally, you caught a ball."
Yeah, you didn't have hands that night. I must confess, you were shocking that night.
I know. And we were so far ahead, that's why it was so embarrassing. But I did get the try down, and obviously we got to know each other after that. Because I thought, who the hell, how the hell does this referee think that he can talk to me like that?
I felt sorry for you. I think it was a knock-on in anyway. I just felt sorry for you at that stage.
Just so you gave me an A for effort.
I gave you 5 points.
How long did you ref, Marius?
No, I was active for give or take about 18 years. About 3 years ago, I kind of hung up the boots when I joined Parable 15.
Okay.
Priorities changed, and time got less on weekends, and obviously music being my first choice, I had to hang up the boots and call it quits.
Do you miss it?
I do. I'm not gonna lie, I do miss it. I miss the fun and games on and off the field, the fans meetings afterwards, and the banter I had with the guys on the field. I mean, after your playing career, you became a referee as well, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Where when you have that great rapport with some of the sides, you can tell them anything on the field, and they take it as a joke, and you have much more fun on the field when you're joking and playing with the guys and having fun with them.
No, absolutely. But let me tell you one thing as well, is when we were playing and you were reffing us, and obviously, like you were saying, the twilight of my career, because I was playing more social rugby and stuff like that, you were one of our favorite referees. And it was purely because of that matter, the fact that you were bantering with us and talking to us and telling me that that I finally caught a ball, well done, and we actually really enjoyed having you as a referee. Did you start your career like that as a referee, or did you just, as you reached a later stage in your refereeing career, started becoming more relaxed?
I think as a youngster, you concentrate and you want to do everything by the book and by the law. And only with experience, you get to know the guys. Obviously, the more you ref the sides, you get to know the guys better. And you also know who you can have a joke with. I mean, you can't tell anybody what I told you. But you kind of get experience, and you read the guys and say, listen, I know where I can push these guys' limits to and have fun with the guys. And then some sides, you go back to by the book and by the law because they just don't have a sense of humor. And obviously, the higher league that you ref, I think the more serious you are. When you come to the more social sides or when you were playing, I loved refereeing those sides because it was fun, and I just had a hell of a joy on the field with the guys.
Well, the nice thing about those games as well was the fact that we all ex-first team players and some provincial players and stuff like that. So it was still a hard game of rugby, but it was a fun game of rugby. And as a player, I'll tell you, many referees messed up a good game. For example, if we played against Collegians or Rovers or something like that, a referee could really mess up a good game because they didn't have a sense of humor.
Yeah, you know, when you get to the bigger games like the Collegians and the Rovers, there's also a different kind of pressure. You have pressure from both sides and both spectators and both coaches. I mean, as you know, some of those coaches for the Prem and the First Division sides.
Should we mention names?
For them, it's win everything or lose nothing. You know, you got to be, and still, I mean, even when I ref those games, you got to have fun. If you don't have fun on the field, then you're not enjoying yourself. Then you might as well stop what you're doing.
What was one of your favorite moments reffing?
Sure.
Something tells me the name Dean Quinn might come into this.
Yeah, Dean Quinn, he was another character. I remember I reffed a game, I think it was at Correctional Services one day, and played 18 meters and blew the whistle and looked back, and Dean Quinn stood with his flag up, calling for foul play. So I run back all 80 meters and I said to him, "Did you see something?" He said to me, "No, I'm just bored. I want to go home." So I said to him, "Seriously, you're walking back 80 meters and tell me you're bored?" I had to go back to the side. I had to go run back 80 meters and tell the guys, "No, it wasn't that serious. Let's just carry on with the scrum."
Oh, geez. What game was that? Was it the school game or?
No, it was. What is that? Who plays at Correctional Services?
Yeah, that was in
side. What was it?
Yeah, that was in our division as well. Third, fourth division.
Durban Mets against somebody. I can't remember who it was against. That was the beginning of my career. He
Yeah.
just took the mickey out of me that day.
So you,
There's one other game. There's one other game that comes to mind, and I think it's kind of a Facebook reminder every year. Is where Hillcrest was playing against Western Old Boys at Kearsley, and I think one of your big mates, Wesley Wagner, was playing that game with Brian Lewis and Michael Moxley. They were
Yeah.
called the Bash Brothers.
yep.
And they had a fairly open try line and running over everybody that came in their way. And I blew it for a forward pass because there was one. It was marginal, but it was forward. and yeah, it's been probably about 7 years, and I've never heard the end of that story. And every year, Facebook reminder comes up, and Brian Lewis, they just keep on chirping me every year. I think you've heard that story before.
I have indeed, because Wesley is a very good mate of mine, and I played with him for many years and played against him for many years, and I reffed him as well. And he still reminds me about certain things and decisions and whatever that I made. So I can only imagine that you would be reminded regularly, and it'll probably be something that you'll be reminded of for the rest of your life. No matter what you do in music, that rugby moment is going to be with you forever. So what do you think now? I just want to, we're getting to know you a bit better. That's what Monday Madness is all about. It's not necessarily about what you do, but it's about who you are. What did you think of the standard of refereeing in the World Cup last year?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I think as an ex-referee, guys make mistakes. A referee makes 2 or 3 mistakes a game, and he gets taken out by the world. Where if you look at the teams, they make mistake after mistake after mistake, and the referee is just there to show their mistakes by blowing a forward pass or a knock on or something. And that's every time a player makes a mistake. But yet, once a ref makes 1 or 2 mistakes a game, he's the worst ref in the world and stuff like that. And come to the final, I always thought that Nigel Owen should have reffed the final, and not Jerome Garcia's like he did. But only afterwards, you kind of got to know that Nigel was injured and was unable to ref the final, and asked that he did not ref the final, and the game was given to Jerome. And I think he did a fairly good game. I mean, we were all reminded about the World Cup final if you watched Chasing the Sun recently.
I was actually just about to ask you if you've watched that.
Absolutely. I thought it was brilliant.
I think it's definitely one of the best documentaries. Take rugby away from it. It was definitely one of the best documentaries ever made in South Africa, to be honest with you. Not just because we won the World Cup. I just think it really captured the essence of the whole journey all the way to the final and then beyond.
Yeah, it's, we last year again, we didn't know what was going on behind the scenes, and we took out Billy for missing high ball, and fuck for kicking the ball away with him. And now after watching it, you kind of saw that it was told by the coaches, kick, kick. And Billy being injured, tearing something in his shoulder, that's why he couldn't catch the high balls, and yet he pushed through and played brilliantly in the final, actually.
What is it about our fullbacks, especially in World Cups? If you remember back in '95, Andre Joubert also broke his hand or something like that and went all the way through.
Yeah, that's true. I think once you get to that level, doesn't matter. You put everything on the line, and doesn't matter what you break, you just carry on, and because you're doing it for your country. You're doing it for the green and gold.
Yeah. Now, Marius, I want to show you. I don't know if can you see can you see your screen well?
I can't see my screen at all, no.
Okay, I'm going to need you to move somewhere because I want to show you something quickly. I'm going to put an image on the screen that you need to see.
Okay, no, I've got it. Mark's got it on his computer there, so you could put the image on.
Okay, have a look at this picture. Do you remember that? Oh, you got a bit of a delay there.
I've got a bit of it, and I'm still waiting for the picture to come up.
Okay. Is it still not up?
Okay, there we go. That was a toti, wasn't it?
That was a toti indeed, and you were running the touch for me. But now, what was amusing was Mark Leslie posted this picture of you and I, and obviously I was getting a sideline report, and your Facebook comment to that was, "I just asked him what kind of beer he would like after the game."
That sounds like something I would have said, no?
No, well, that's just going back to what you were saying about Dean Quinn. So in the twilight of my reffing career, I had the same problems with my touch judges or my ARs.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I thought you were doing a sterling job, so I was just getting your drink afterwards ready, wanting to know what you want.
You know what? The ironic thing, however, is I still haven't got that beer from you. So, okay. So now, take rugby out of the question. We've spoken a bit about rugby now. Let's talk about music. And I remember years ago, obviously, I think it was at a referees meeting or something like that, you announced to me that you were a drummer. And I thought, okay, cool. And then we did a small little theatre production together called The Story Behind the Story. And you obviously proved yourself that you could drum like a demon, because it wasn't long after that you landed up with Parable 15. Tell us a little bit how that happened. How did that journey go from telling me at a meeting that you're a referee to actually getting to Parable 15? Because it was pretty quick that this all happened for you.
I want to just correct you. We were at Jack Rabbit's one night, and I think it was Robin's birthday.
Oh, yes. Correction.
And it came up and said, "Listen, I'm a drummer," and you were looking for somebody, and I said, "Well, I can try." Not long after that, I was actually one Sunday afternoon lying in bed watching TV on the Sunday afternoon, and I got this message from Mark Scott, you know him, and asked me, "Listen, their current session drummer wasn't available for a video shoot the next weekend. Am I available?"
Did he know what you looked? Did he know?
Stage,
Did he know that you did not have a face for television?
Yeah, but drummers on the background, so that doesn't matter.
Okay, I interrupted.
He said to me, "Would I like to play?" And at that stage, the band that I was in kind of just broke up for various reasons. So I was like, had nothing. I had no commitments at that stage. And I said to him, "Yeah, I wouldn't mind, but shivering in my boots, because although I've known all their music and love their music, it's a different thing playing it." And then Mark said to me, "Well, why don't you meet me at Woodcutters for a beer?" So I went to Woodcutters, and Mark bought me a beer, and he said to me, "Listen, their current drummer couldn't make it for the video shoot, but also he's a session drummer. He's not committed because he's committed somewhere else. Would I like to join them permanently?" And I said I would love to. And I've seen Parable 15 every single show that they played in Durban. I made a point. I loved their music at that stage, and I went to every show. And Mark, I started to know Mark from there, and Mark knew I was a drummer. So I think that's the reason he contacted me. And my first words to Mark at this meeting was like, "Mark, I'm not the best drummer in the world, but I'll give you 110%. And he said to me, "That's all he needs." And 3.5 years later, I'm still with him. I think my drumming has improved quite a bit, and it's purely because he works us like demons. We work hard, we practice hard, and you can hear it in our music currently. I think our last album that we put out is world class, and it just shows you hard work
Absolutely.
takes you to the top.
Absolutely. And I've had Mark on the show quite a lot, and he was actually my first ever Monday Madness guest. When we did the first Monday Madness, he was the guy. No, sorry, the second. He was the second. And no, he was the first. Was he? No, second. Okay, it doesn't matter. Anyway, and I was saying to him at some point as well that it's almost as if in the last few years, Parable 15 have stepped up a gear. And he was saying that it's because of the work ethic that you guys put in and the amount of rehearsal time and the commitment from the band that sort of has taken you to the next level. What does it take from you as an individual member in an outfit like that to really push your 110%?
Yeah, you know what? I think all four of us, we don't just come together twice a week and practice. I think we go back home and we practice by ourselves. I mean, if you don't do that, there's no point. I remember in the beginning when I just started, obviously we practiced 2-3 times a week. And then the other 4 nights of the week, I was at home playing the songs. Mark gave me the tracks, and I was playing like crazy at home as well. My situation has currently changed. I'm in a flat now, so my neighbors don't really like me playing loud drums. So it's a bit more difficult for me right now. But still, practice pad, and you play at home, and you play on the couch, and you play on the table, and I think you just practice. And the same goes with Nick and Bryce and Mark. Nick would leave here, and tomorrow night when we don't have practice, he'll sit alone in his room and he will practice, and that's what makes us what we are. And I think, like you said, it's the work ethic and the we want to play and we want to perform and we want to show everybody that we are the best.
Brilliant. Okay, well, we're going to take a short music break. I'm going to play one of the songs off the album called Heaven. Tell me a little bit about that song.
Yeah, Heaven was written where Mark, he kind of, heaven to everybody is something different. I have a perception of heaven. Mark has a perception of heaven, and I think this is his perception of heaven, where he thinks that heaven is like you walking on in the street, having a whiskey with your grandfather that you never knew because maybe he died at a young age, or your father, or somebody that you love. And I think everybody thinks of heaven where you're going to go meet the people that made a difference in your life that's no longer there. And I think that's what it's all about.
Well, brilliant. Let's take a listen to it. When we come back, Marius, we're going to talk a little bit more about music and future plans and things like that.
Some people think there's a paradise, a place where believers fly. Some people think that it's said and done the minute you close your eyes. Some people find relief that when they die, they'll come back for a second try. That ain't me, this is how I see it going down. I dream of heaven, walking slow on streets of gold, sipping that old number 7 with my grandpa that I never got to know. And when the night falls, girl, if there's such a thing, I'll be holding you close, kissing your lips and dancing slow to my favorite song playing on the I grew up on reading the good book. Now I know it's not for everyone. It's hard to believe every little thing, but it's sure not hard to love. They say that Jesus died on a tree to save folks like you and me, but That moment you walked into my life is the moment I hit my knee. I dream of heaven walking slow on streets of gold, sipping that old number 7 with my grandpa that I never got to know. And when the night falls, girl, if there's such a thing, I'll be holding you close, kissing your lips and dancing slow to my favorite song playing on the radio. You can put it on repeat so I can feel your heartbeat close to mine, close to mine. I dream of heaven walking slow on streets of gold, sipping that old number 7 with my grandpa that I never got to know. And when the night falls, girl, if there's such a thing, I'll be holding you close, kissing your lips and dancing slow to my favorite song playing on the radio.
Parable 15 and Heaven on RTL SA. Marius, let me find you. Where did I put you? There you are. Okay. Marius, I need to tell you something.
Yeah, I'm listening.
There is Uber in Bloemfontein.
Wow. Yeah. I think we need another hour show for that story now. And there's probably some things that should not be said. But
Okay. But I've let the cat out of the bag.
Or there wasn't in 2000, when was it? 2017.
16, I think. Okay, so
2016, there was no Uber in Bloemfontein.
Marius and I went with a team of referees to Bloemfontein. We all went out the night, and I remember that everybody decided that they're going back to the guest house, and Noel was like, I'm going to stick around here. I'll catch an Uber. I'll catch an Uber back. And little did I know that there was no Uber in Bloemfontein at the time. So, needless to say, I was ragged all the way home back to Durban and beyond as well. And you were one of the big instigators.
I think we did delay our trip for about an hour because we were still looking for you.
No, but I had to just tell you that they do have Uber in Bloemfontein now. So if you ever do want to go to Bloemfontein with me again, just let me know. We can do a bit of a road trip.
Sure, yeah. There's parts of that trip that I still can't remember.
No, it was a good trip. Right, now you guys recently did that big streaming session. And I remember your post on Facebook saying that it was such an incredible experience. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Sure, yeah. We went up to Joburg to play the Hula Baloo Urban Sessions. We walked into this massive studio with more lights than I've ever seen, more sound equipment than I've ever seen, and probably one of South Africa's best sound engineers mixing us. I have not had that experience before, and I think it's going to be difficult to get that experience again. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll do something like that again. But yeah, the professionalism that went into that whole show, being run through CompuTicket and the Hullabaloo sessions, I think they spent a lot of money in getting those shows out there for people to see. Purely because with COVID-19, I think a lot of shows were cancelled, including a lot of our shows were cancelled. So to get the music out there to the people, they do these live streaming things, and bands like like us and Prime Circle played in those shows, and it was absolutely an amazing experience.
Okay, well, what was it like though? Because I must tell you, I've been on some big stages as well, and the lighting and sound is absolutely incredible and all that stuff. But missing a crowd in front of you, I mean, that must have been really weird, having all the sound and lighting and all of a sudden and no crowd. Must have been really strange.
It was strange, but I think it took a lot of the pressure off. When you play in front of a crowd, you play to please. Yes, you feed off the crowd, but you still want to perform for the crowd, and you feel that pressure. Where we just had the cameras, I think there was slightly less pressure, and the fact that everything was working so well, our mix and our ears were fantastic. The feed that went out to the public was fantastic. Took a lot of pressure off the band members. Bryce, that usually does our sound for us, and yes, he does a great job, but he didn't have that pressure of making sure that everything was great for the audience, and he could enjoy himself just concentrating on playing the bass. And I think it was, for all of us, was the same. It felt like a glorified practice session where, I mean, when we rehearse, we've got no crowd, and yet we play like we do in a show. And this was just, I think, it was a massive practice session. It was phenomenal.
Just with good sound and lighting. Now, let's dig up some dirt on Parable 15 while we're here. I actually wanted to put Mark on the spot, but Mark's one of these guys. He's going to try spin it to make everybody happy and sound good. But you're the type of guy who's going to call a spade a spade. So let's dig up some dirt on Parable 15. Which member of the band is always late?
Nick, definitely.
That is such a guitarist thing.
He's 21, so half his life is sleeping. And the other half is practicing. So yeah.
All right. Who would you, in your opinion, say is the worst roommate?
Actually, none of the guys that's currently on tour with us are bad. I had on one of our previous tours, I had a roommate that snored quite a bit. But the guys that's here in the room with me,
Are you such a liar? I put you on the spot. You have to name one of them. One of them's got to be the worst. You.
I really, when my head hits the pillow, I sleep. I really don't have an issue sharing a room with any of the guys. Yeah.
Okay, who's the clown in the band? Who's the prankster?
Probably me.
Not surprised. Okay. Now, you've been with the band for like 3.5 years now, whatever. What is one of your highlights being with the band so far?
No, sure.
I know you guys.
I would say this Sullivan session was definitely one of the highlights. And I would suppose every time I walk into stage, I think that's a highlight. I love playing for Parable. I love being on stage with these guys. And every single time that I get onto stage, it's a new highlight for me.
You know, that is such a Mark Scotta answer. So politically correct. Okay, so you're going to play...
I can tell you my lowlights, but yeah.
Oh, do share while we're talking about it.
Yeah, it was probably one of our biggest shows that was planned for the year. We were playing at the Bloemfontein Arts Festival. We were opening for Jack Parow, and we had this hype about it. We had 4,500 people in the tent, It was the 7th of July. It was one of the coldest days in Bloemfontein ever. And I won't say we were booed off stage, but people were cutting our set short, asking for Paroh, shouting Paroh's name. So it was definitely one of the lowlights of my playing career.
But on a festival lineup like that, you would expect that the organizers would think a little bit about things like that, and say, okay, well, Jack Paroh is an Afrikaans artist and you guys are a country rock band. Surely they are going to sort of say, okay, well, let's sort of build into Paroh, rather than just try have such a cut in between the two genres.
Yeah, no, yes, you might be right, but I don't think anybody that played before Paroh would have been treated the same. I don't think it's because we were English country rock band. I think if Steve Hofmeyr had played in front of him, he would have been booed off stage as well.
Yeah. How do you guys as a band deal with something like that?
At that stage, we cut our set short. Mark called 2 more songs, and we finished it and got off stage. And some of the people actually came to us and said, "Yeah, we are so sorry because we loved your set and we would have loved to hear your whole set." But again, you're playing in front of 20, 21-year-old students. Like you said, wanted to hear Jack Paroh and it's Afrikaans, and we were playing English. So yeah, it was a difficult night, but we pulled through and we made the best of a worse situation.
Well, good for you. Right, so we are going to hear your new single, Firefly. Tell us a little bit about that song.
Yeah, Firefly is where the album's name came from. As you know, our third album is called Bioluminescence. And that is essentially a light that shines from inside. As you know, fireflies and jellyfish and the northern lights are all natural lights, and that's called bioluminescence. And
all right, it seems as though we've lost Parable 15 somewhere. I'll try to get them back in just a second.
This could be a long, long night. I try to sleep, it's pouring down. I pull you close, forgot you're not around. But I'll be alright. Every day I tell myself that nobody else can make me better. So if I cry, it's not 'cause I'm missing you. I'm just fine, so damn over you. And I don't want it back the way it was. You could never be the cause of all my pain. So if I cry today, well, I'll blame it on the rain. If I wonder if you're fine, I don't care that much, I'm just here in time. And that's the only reason. When I just can't shake the blues, I tell myself that it isn't you. I wanna believe it. Every day I tell myself that nobody else anything but what I know is true. Bring on the clouds and let them rain on. I'd be fine if I could blame it on anything and everything. So if I cry, it's not 'cause I'm missing you. I'm just fine, so damn over you. And I don't want it back the way it was. You could never be the cause of all my pain. So if I cry today, well, I'll blame it on the rain. On the rain.
Off the brand new album Bioluminescence, it is Rain from Parable 15. And Lauren on YouTube is saying, oh, she absolutely loves that song. And so does Zelda. Absolutely enjoying the song. And now performing their brand new single. And unfortunately, we will not have video for this. But performing their brand new single is called Fireflies. Please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Parable 15.
Thank you so much.
Oh, hello, Mark.
One of these days, you throw a penny and a wish and a will, and it's gonna break, 'cause your dreams are too big to swallow. Your ambitions outgrown its clothes. It takes up space and it lies in between your shirts and your coats, and nobody knows. You've been trying to convince your shadow that you're somebody worth following, but you got it blind. Higher than the things that bring you down. You gotta run faster than the speed of light. You gotta know how to fight the gravity that's bringing you down. And just so you know, you're a firefly. So won't you let your light shine? Through the winds of change, now you're standing on the edge of your world. Light that match and watch it explode. The chase is on, buddy, you keep running from yourself. You can run, but you can't hide. You've been trying to convince your shadow that you're somebody worth following, but you gotta fly higher than the things that bring you down. You gotta run faster than the speed of light. You gotta know how to fight the gravity that's bringing you down. And just so you know, you're a firefly. So won't you let your light shine? Some say don't burn bridges. I say let the kerosene kiss it on the lips and watch it turn to ashes. There's always one more way to cross the water, to cross the water. But you gotta fly
fly higher than the things that bring you down. You gotta roll faster than the speed of light. You gotta know I would fight the gravity that's bringing you down. And just so you know, you're a firefly, so won't you let your light shine?
Brand new single played live for the first time on media. Parable 15's Firefly. Mark, thank you for that pleasant surprise. I wasn't expecting it.
Thank you, man. Thanks for letting us do it. It's like Marius said, it's the first time we've ever performed this as a single and on any kind of media as a single, and it's been interesting. You know, we work really hard on practicing and putting it out there, so it's been cool to do it live and see how this comes out on streaming media and all of that kind of stuff.
Well, I'll give you some insight. Oh my goodness, another cool song, Lauren says. And Zelda replies, Lauren, I know, right? Love the words. I can definitely
thank
relate.
You guys so much, man. We appreciate your support. It's so needed this year, especially. You know what I mean? It's been a hectic year. It's been good for us, but tough in other ways. And every little bit of support really helps us keep that tempo going and keep us kind of working as hard as we've been working.
Now, Sarah also asked a question specifically to you. She wants to know, Mark, are you a Christian boy?
That's a loaded question. You have to define what that means first before I can answer that question. We are in no way, shape, or form a religious band, nor are we a Christian band in any way, shape, or form. We're four guys who believe that there is more to life than all of the shit that we constantly see and hear about. And whether that correlates with anything that you've believed religiously in the past or not really has no bearing on what we're trying to do.
100%. Now, while you guys were performing, I put up the picture of Rocky Ridge, which is happening on the 28th of November. Tell us a little bit about that show.
Yeah, man, we're excited about it. You know, we finally back on the road again, 28th of November in Ramsgate. It's a beautiful little music venue there, and we've played there once before, about 4 years ago. And it's cool to go back, and we're really looking forward to it. We've just got to obviously get the word out and try and fill it as much as possible within the COVID-19 rules and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, we're excited about it. It's good to be, you know, playing again live, even if it's in front of a smaller crowd with masks on.
That doesn't stop people from clapping hands.
Exactly.
All right, so
yeah,
You and Me has literally, it's the only song that's been on the RTLSA top 10 since the beginning. And not just in the top 10, in the top 3 since the beginning. And you've been charting everywhere else. How do you feel about Firefly as your next single following up from You and Me?
Yeah, we're excited about it. You know, obviously, You and Me has set the standard, which is hard to beat. When you look at what it's done on radio in the worst possible time to be a musician, and to be a white musician playing English music is even harder in this country. So, you know, we've got a little bit of anxiety around it. It's a tough thing, but I think, you know, Firefly is the right follow-up song for us. What we found is that in some cases with radio in South Africa, You and Me was a little bit too rock and roll, and I think that this song is a good balance between hard rock and roll and some kind of pop elements as well. So hopefully this one will do the same as You and Me, if not better.
Well, You and Me has done exceptionally well, and I know that the RTLSA listeners love it because they keep it in the top 3 week after week. And last week it dropped to 3, which was the lowest it's ever been. And today it was back up to number 2, and I suspect that it will get back up to number 1 at some point as well. So congratulations and well done to you guys for that.
Well, thank you so much, man. Like I said, every little bit of support helps, and we really, really appreciate you and all of your listenership. And I guess radio is the lifeblood of what we do. You know, without radio, it's really, really difficult. And the best way that I can describe it is, you know, our songs are our children. You know what I mean? We spend all this time kind of raising them from nothing, and then it comes to a point where you got to release them, and it kind of feels like your kid going to school for the first time when they're 5. You know, you hand them the backpack and you kind of go like, well, I've done everything I can.
Off you go.
I hope people like you. And, you know, that's kind of what it's like for us releasing a song, and to have the feedback about how people are really loving it and relating to it is worth all the hard work, and it's so special to us as a band. And like I said, it keeps us working even harder on the next one and the next one and the next one. So yeah, man, thank you so much for all your support. We really, really appreciate it.
Well, a very big thank you to you, firstly, for allowing me to crash your rehearsal tonight and allowing me to spend some time with Marius. Big thank you to Marius for facilitating as well. And as usual, it's an absolute pleasure to have Parable 15 on the show. You guys are definitely one of our favorites, and we love supporting you, and we love what you guys do.
Well, thank you so much, man. And to answer the question, I am the worst person to room with. I have some OCD habits, and I also have insomnia, so it's interesting. There's lots of time spent on my phone scrolling up and down on different things, so it's quite cut for the other person in the room to have to deal with. So yeah, that answers that question for you.
To be honest with you,
as far as
that was the answer I was expecting.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you know me well enough to know that I can be fun, but I can be a real dick as well. So, you know, when the pressure's on, the truth comes out. But the reality is that, you know, we're the four of us in this band, including our support staff, who we could not do this without, you know, wives, girlfriends, all those kind of things. We're a family, and, you know, families fight and families have issues, but we get over it and we move forward, and we all have a greater goal to work towards. So yeah, that's how it is, and it's a good mixture of all of us.
Well, Mark, as usual, like I said, it's been an absolute pleasure, and all the best, and enjoy Rocky Ridge. It's a beautiful venue. It's awesome to play there, and I know that even with only 50 people there, you guys are going to have a jewel and you're going to rock it.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you and all your listeners. We'll chat soon.
Absolutely. Parable 15 just playing their song Firefly live for the first time on air, on media platforms. Absolutely awesome to hear. And of course, chatting to Marius as well about rugby and about everything else, getting to know him a little better, as we do on Monday Madness, because that's how we roll. But don't go anywhere, because now it's hot music all the way till the end.
I'm going to just be honest, this was the greatest interview of all time.
This is Donovan Copley from Hot Water.
I am Kerry Miller.
Hey, I'm Ross from Prime Circle.
Love RTL.
My new addiction.
Let me not just talk about it. Let me show you in the back of the window where I'm at.
Cabinet has decided to place the entire country on alert level 2.
No, thank you for getting me out of bed this morning.
Informative. Relevant. Diverse. Interactive. So educational. Fantastic. Super fulfilling.
I think most of the time in South Africa, certainly provincial cricket, they might as well play because there's no spectators going to watch anyway.
The hugging, the shaking of hands, and kissing is a thing of the past.
And then overnight into Thursday, we're expecting that cold front to spread showers into most.
Playlist is incredible.
Love the music.
Best music. Entertaining. So entertaining. Entertaining.
They wanted radio people because radio people can basically talk shit when things go wrong.
A sight that just a few weeks ago seemed scarcely possible. Eden Park is back in business, a capacity...
No, but seriously, on a serious note, I think I actually swiped right for you the one day when I saw you. I didn't know.
You didn't.
But you wouldn't know.
And I love the dress. If I tell you, I didn't even wear a bra, that was so good.
Splashdown.
As you can see on your screen, we have visual confirmation for Splashdown.
I will try to fix you.
You guys are the lifeblood of what's left of this music industry.
And of course, Noel Johnson. We love your sexy legs. Especially because of Noel Johnson. Jeez, that man is sexy. Thank God for RTLSA.
You are a star.
RTLSA.
Home of legends.